Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
You want to start the week off with a couple of groaners, those that you go, oh. Well, here's a couple for you this morning on a Monday. A dentist and a manicurist got married. They fought tooth and nail. Here's my favorite. He had a photographic memory, which was never developed. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot. Come on, patriots. Call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Zeb Bell. Zeb at the Ranch on a foggy, kind of a cold Monday morning. Good morning, and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and get ready for wintertime driving. And then also don't forget some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Are you the man?
Yes, sir. I'd love to do the pledge.
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Wheels. And right now, let's go to the weather. And the weather brought to you by Roger and the crew over at K&R Rental. I bet you they had to drive slow getting to work this morning. Wow. Little foggy over here, man. I can't even see the back fence. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn on the Burley Paul Highway. Number to call, 678-3122. And they've got the best of tools and equipment. And if you need any tools or equipment to finish a construction project, they can and will help you. Stop in if you're not sure what you need. Tell them what you're looking for, and they can get it all laid out for you at K&R Rental in Hayburn, 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like this inversion that we're in is going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, well, at least through about Wednesday. Here's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch as we kick off another work week, and we are looking at areas of dense freezing fog this morning, patchy fog around the valley. Still a little bit on the breezy side as well. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 10 miles an hour. For tonight, widespread haze before midnight, patchy fog before midnight as well. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 13. For tomorrow, widespread haze after 11 o'clock in the morning. Patchy freezing fog for tomorrow morning as well. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 33. That's going to stick around for Tuesday evening with a low right near 16. Wednesday, widespread haze again because of this inversion. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 34 for Wednesday night. Partly cloudy skies with a low of 20. So that is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Great job brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn on the Burley Paul Highway. Hello, Roger and the crew. And don't forget, you can also fill out their online estimates for estimates on the rental and what it's going to take tool and equipment-wise to get the job done for you. Or give them a call. Stop in. Whatever, 678-3122. K&R Rental. Really good people. Wow. A lot of things have been going on since we last talked last Thursday. Now, this morning, very, very important that you are aware of what the opening story was during the 8 o'clock news, a bomb, a pipe bomb or a vest bomb, they haven't made a distinct disclosure as to what it is, was strapped to they think, ISIS terrorist in New York. Fortunately, the only person that really got hurt bad was the bomber himself, and he is in custody. And we'll tell you more about this in just a minute. But it's just so pathetic at this time of the season for joy and love and peace. And then we have this. We'll tell you more momentarily. Don't forget Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. You still didn't take the Thanksgiving tablecloth and your tie and your dress or whatever in after you spilled cranberry sauce and gravy and everything else? Well, get them cleaned. You've got a lot of things going on for the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas. Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Kevin and Cindy, the whole crew, the best cleaner in the universe. You stop in and see them today, Daryl's Cleaners in Burley. Real quick, too, I want to remind you before we get into that story about what happened in New York City, that Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, number to call 678-0459. They opened up at 7:30 this morning, and they'll be there till well about 5 or after this evening, always with your heating and electrical needs at Ramsey Heating and Electric. And don't forget, too, they've got all your furnace filters to make sure that furnace is going to work efficiently, especially in these cold mornings. Woo, it's chilly out there. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Oh, and by the way, Merry Christmas this week. It's this week, and we're so excited. We're going to be over at Denny's on Thursday for our annual Christmas party at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. From 8 to 11, we're going to be broadcasting live and direct over there. Door prizes, Santa Claus, and register for the recliner. But you can register for the recliner today, right now. If you're in a Denny's eating, sign your receipt, put your phone number on it, put it in the box, and you might be the lucky winner of a great big, beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Jeff and the crew helping us out for Christmas wishes at Denny's for their Christmas party this Thursday. Don't you miss it. Great food, Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley. Really good, folks. Yes, a bomb went off this morning, and this just, we have to be so careful wherever we are, wherever we're going. I know people that are going to go back to New York and spend New York for Christmas holidays. About 7:30 this morning, a person about in his mid to latter 20s had a bomb strapped to him in the New York subway system right about at Times Square. And a lot of the final results on this study are a little sketchy. We're waiting for future newscasts so they can shake it out a little bit with Homeland Security and also the NYPD. But the man supposedly from Bangladesh, yes, a Muslim, touched off a bomb that injured 4 others, but not seriously, according to reports. And I've been on the phone with people this morning back in that area. And ISIS, they say, inspired this bombing. Now, ISIS also had said a couple of weeks ago that they were going to be aiming at our Christmas. And they had little notes and cartoons about Santa Claus. You better not trust who's dressed up as that Santa Claus. May be a bomber. And it's trying, and it is instilling fear in a lot of people about possibly turning off going to New York for the Christmas holidays. And I think that's a shame. It really is. All the agencies in control are in force, full force right now back in New York City. And I hope they treat this man as an enemy combatant, and they just literally get the information from him as to whether there were any other accomplices or whatever. I don't care, and I want to emphasize this. This is my opinion. I don't care how they get the information, but get it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's start the week off right. Give me a call if you would, please. By the way, we have been telling you that if you're a senior living alone, and it's bad enough just being home alone with the isolation and everything, but also the safety hazards that are right knocking on the door, and poor nutrition, you're not wanting to fix yourself a gourmet meal, maybe a piece of toast, oh no, and maybe even missing medication, you better get a hold of Pomerel Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. The number to call and find out more is 677-8212. That number again, 677-8212. Pomerel Place, yes, a place for senior living. You get a hold of them today. Now, later on this morning at about high noon, I want to remind you that big stock cow sale is going to take place at the Burley Livestock. You better believe it. You're looking for stock cows. I mean, they're going to have all kinds of stock cows, all different ages, and it's at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, and it starts at high noon today. Merv Maid, Lance Udicade, Roggy, bring down the gavel, selling stock cows. Special stock cow sale today at Burley Livestock at high noon. Don't you miss it. Going to be a good sale. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A little bit of a personal note on this bombing in New York City. I have spent a lot of time in New York City back in the late 80s and 90s. And, boy, I tell you what, it's such a congested area with people literally like some of the Christmas songs, hustling and bustling here and there. But it's also a beautiful city at Christmas time. And the lights and all the different events and the parks and the skating, the ice skating, and all the Santa Claus and the nativity scenes. Oh, it can be just absolutely beautiful. And now, another attempt to destroy not only Christmas, but also going after the Big Apple, New York City. And already many of the leaders, like Peter King and others in politics, have come out and said this was an ISIS-inspired event. I certainly hope, and I meant what I said a few moments ago, that we, the United States, our government, etc., Homeland Security, get the information as to whether there's any other subsidiary people involved or the network or whatever. Get the information before this kook and crackpot lawyers up. Get it anywhere, anyhow possible, if you get my drift. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear from you. Come on. Don't leave me hanging on a foggy, cold day. Man alive, it was chilly this weekend, wasn't it? Hey, Dino Septic Service over in Rupert. We had Jamie on the phone with us the other day. These are really nice people doing a job that you and I, we don't want to do that. We don't want to go out and pump the septic tank. We don't want to go out and have the job of cleaning sewer and sink drain lines. We don't want that job of liquid waste removal, but they do, and they do a wonderful job. Fast, fair, friendly service. Telephone numbers in Rupert, 436-6526, and in Burley, 678-1638. Dino Septic Service in Rupert, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Really nice people. And by the way, too, I know some folks, they're already there this morning, and they probably got somebody walking in that hydrotherapy pool, and that's the folks over at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, the best. Now, that's not brag. That's a fact. They are the best people, the best physical therapists, and they know all the exercises, and they've got that hydrotherapy pool, and believe me, they can help you get back to being you. That's right. Whether you've got a child in school that falls off one of the apparatuses or whatever, or you have a surgery, or you break your arm and leg or whatever, hey, They can help you get back to being you. All you have to do is call the number, make an appointment at 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. You get a hold of them today. As more information is provided on what's going on back in New York City, we will tell you. But I got to also start the story off, or the program off this morning, with this. Saturday, I am so glad, and I forgot that the game was on. And I am so glad that I took a little time and went in the house and turned on the TV, just finished a sandwich, and the Army-Navy game came on. And it did a lot for me to renew, restore, and reinvigorate a feeling of patriotism for this great country, the United States of America. When you had literally thousands of Army cadets and Navy midshipmen standing and going through the various functions before the game started, but then with the national anthem, every one of them, men and women, standing so tall and erect and proud, sticking their chin out, as the national anthem of the United States of America is played. And it is no embarrassment to me to say that when the cameras pan the multitude of cadets and midshipmen, there was a tear in my eye. And also some animosity. And that animosity goes to these prima donnas that are called professional athletes in the NFL, that are highly overpaid and grossly underworked, and they take a knee at the national anthem. And something I was thinking about after I saw that, and I'm not ashamed to admit it again, that I had tears in my eyes with the patriotism that was being shown. But I got to thinking that it will not be very long that these Navy midshipmen and these Army cadets will be taking off that dress uniform, and they will be putting on the camo and the fatigues of actually being in the service. Some may be going to Afghanistan, some might be going to the Middle East at other checkpoints, some might be going to bolster our forces in South Korea versus North Korea. But they will be donning a uniform to protect these same slovenly NFL slobs that take a knee in defiance of our country and respect of our flag. Yes, and I won't back up. I have a lot of animosity against not all the NFL players, but to these that are, like I said, given so many opportunities and, quite frankly, so much money to play a game and then cause all this disrespect against our country and our flag. It sickens me. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Merry Christmas. Oh, I didn't hit the bells this morning. Merry Christmas from Snake River Auto Body and Paint. I got to tell you, I know Ken, I know Dan, I know the staff. They are the best. They've worked on my pickup. They've put things back together after we've had a couple of wrinkles in our vehicles. I'm telling you, they are the best, and I absolutely swear by them. I tell you, call them today. Snake River Auto Body and Paint, 404 4th Avenue West in Twin Falls, 734-5790. Along with Streamline Precision. Hello, Tim. 120 South. I'll be there in a minute, caller. 100 west of Burley. Number to call, 678-9204. For all your excavation, underground piping, and utilities, putting in all the waste ponds, irrigation ponds, they are the experts at Streamline Precision in Burley, 678-9204. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. So is Pickett Equipment Company at 976 East Main in Burley. Steve and the crew over there at 678-0855, and they'd like to thank the farmers for another great year. Pickett Equipment Company since way back in the mid-1970s with the best equipment in the world. Shipping all over the world. Merry Christmas from Pickett Equipment Company. And also Merry Christmas from Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Holy cow, yes, the whole crew. 1177 7th Avenue in Hayburn. I'm going to cough. Stand by. I'm better now. And they've got a wonderful gift shop over there at the Visitor Center, and it's got all kinds of made-in-Idaho products. You get over there and check it out today at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Merry, Merry Christmas. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, my friend. And by the way, you are now crowned the Popcorn King of Magic Valley.
You like that?
I loved it. Thank you.
That stuff you can't quit eating it.
No, you know what? A guy on crutches, I had to be really careful because I'd close the lid and I'd start walking away, and all of a sudden I felt a force that just absolutely made me do an about face and go back and get more, and it's hard to do that when you're my age.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I got my exercise walking back and forth from the living room to the kitchen, grab some, and go. That's where I put it.
Amen.
Exercise.
Amen.
While I eat it.
What can I do for you this morning?
Well, the bomber in New York, I've heard talk about he should be an enemy combatant, not read his Miranda rights and stuff like this, and I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
The man wants to bring down. They want to destroy America, and when you've got an enemy combatant, they don't deserve the treatment as just a regular bank robber or somebody that steals a car or something like that.
And I'm going to say this, and at my age, I really don't care if somebody's offended. I'm just going to come out and say it the way it is. I want the authorities to get the information from this absolute sinister being any way they can get it. I don't care if it resorts in torture. I don't care what it resorts to. I don't care. I do not want to see innocent men and women and children hurt, maimed, or killed because of some idiotic ISIS bomber that wants to do mayhem here in this country. Doug, there's a network. There's other people that knew about this. Go get the information.
Exactly. And I'm with you. The people that say, can't use torture. Well, what is it when they set a bomb off in the middle of a bunch of innocent people?
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I mean, you blow the legs like those Boston bombers.
Yes.
They blew the legs off people.
Yes. And where is the sympathy? Where is the sympathy that is supposed to be weighted on our shoulders? Why is it that and I've heard these people, you've heard them too, we're better than that. We're Americans. We do everything by the book. Hey, wait a minute. When it comes to protecting Deanne, when it comes to protecting my family, Toby's family, Jake's family, your wife, everybody, you get the information and stop the onslaught of terror.
Exactly. If the shoe's on the other foot and the ones that are screaming they can't use that, if it was their family, someone coming into their house, I'll guarantee you they would open up. Now wait a minute, you can't do that. You're in a gun-free zone. You got to follow the rules.
Doug, I said on this program, I think it was a year or 2 years ago, you may have been a part of the program that morning, but I said the same circumstance that if your child was in a building that was controlled by some of these absolute radical ISIS bombers, and you and the authorities had a captive of these ISIS bombers, and this guy wasn't going to say anything about where the bomb was or when it's supposed to explode, etc. I made the comment, I said, you will get that information any way possible. And I never will forget the outcry. Even here in Magic Valley, people said, that's not the American way. How dare you? You're nothing but a redneck. Hey, I don't mind being called names because I tell you what, Doug, if it comes to my family, I would peel the skin off that son of a gun. I had to watch myself inch by inch.
Yeah. I like the American way back in World War I, World War II. We went in and we fought to win. And ever since then, we went in and fought politically.
Yep.
And I mean, you don't go into a fight saying, okay, we got to follow all these rules. In a street fight, there are no rules.
Well, let's just say it this way. I've used this analogy a lot. You don't sit in a prize fight. My dad used to be a boxer. You don't sit in a prize fight and yell over to the other corner and say, okay, when the bell rings, I'm coming out and leading with a right cross, and then I'm going to follow up with a left hook. You don't do something so doggone stupid as we're doing in this country.
Exactly. And our president now, President Trump, is stopping all that. He's not telegraphing what we're going to do.
Absolutely. Holy cow, I got to give away some cookies. Doug, I'm sorry, I'm running late. Okay,
and one quick point on this bomber that set this off. They need to gather up his whole family.
Oh, absolutely. Put them in a great big van and away they go. I want the information.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
His whole family.
Thanks, Doug.
They knew something.
I agree.
Anyway, hey, everybody, let's take care of our senior centers.
All right, we got to go.
Donate monthly. Do it. If you just once a year, that's great. But let's help them out.
Okay, we're going to give away some cookies from Sophie's in just a minute. But right now, I also want to tell you about Keelix supplements. Oh, my goodness, a very important supplement of vitamins and minerals for your livestock. You better get a hold of Scott Mitten today. Number to call, 435-230-1175. He is the sales rep for Keelix supplements in this area. Call him, and he can help you provide your cattle what they need during these cold winter months. Absolutely, a variety of formulas for beef cattle, dairy cattle, horses, sheep, and goats. You get a hold of him today. Number to call, 435-230-1175, Scott Mitten. And he's the man with Keelix supplements. You give him a call today. Right now, let's give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox over in Rupert. And I'm going to ask you a Christmas question this morning. If you can answer it correctly, the first person to answer correctly that has not won the cookies in the past, you'll get a dozen delicious cookies from Sophie's Chatterbox. Delicious bakery, delicious restaurant at 530 East Street in Rupert. And the question is, which reindeer of Santa's reindeer was Rudolph's daddy? Which reindeer of Santa's reindeer was Rudolph's daddy? Quickly call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Come on, I want to hear from you. While I am waiting for your call, I also want to tell you about the urgent cares, and we are so blessed to have 3 in this area. One in Burley at Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland in Burley, and then Twin Falls Urgent Care at 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care at 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. And everything, they can fix up lacerations and the sprains and the strains and the fractures and the care for your whole family and drug screening, DOT physicals. Oh my goodness, all you need to do is stop in. You get treated, not seated. No appointment needed. Open 7 days a week with extended hours and always a qualified provider on staff, ready to serve you at the urgent cares in Burley with Riverview Urgent Care, and then also Urgent Care of Twin and Urgent Care of Jerome. All right, let's have a winner. Anybody call? It's an easy question this morning. Which reindeer was Rudolph's daddy? Quickly call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Was it Donner?
Who is this?
This is Kay Peterson.
Kay Peterson, how did you know so much about reindeer?
Well, I've had a long study of reindeers. It's something that's been a passion of my life.
Kay, let me just tell you this. You've led a very sheltered life, I'll tell you. No, seriously, you have been the winner of the dozen cookies. Call over there to Sophie's. Let them know when you're going to be coming by. They'll have the cookies ready for you. And may I say, Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, you're welcome. You say this is, who did I win the cookies
Sophie's Chatterbox, right on the square in Rupert. A great place to eat and a great bakery. Stop over.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kay Peterson. And it was Donner. And you know, when I was going through a bunch of these trivia questions for today, I didn't know that. I had no clue. Okay. So, congratulations to Kay Peterson today. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Once again, a quick reminder, that great big stock cow sale is going to be at the Burley Livestock at high noon today. Don't you miss it. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of stock cows coming in, and it's going to be, according to Merv and Cade and Lance, it's going to be a ripping good sale starting at high noon at the Burley Livestock Sale at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Don't forget, that's at high noon today. Great big stock cow sale. Be there. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you a story that when I heard this, I scratched my head and I said, you've got to be kidding me. How could they do this? A story about conservative, now follow me on this now, conservative high school students at Edina, Minnesota High School. Now, these conservative high school students are suing, and I might add quickly, rightfully so, their Minnesota school district because the school district wants to disband their organization. Why do they want to disband the conservative high school students of Edina, Minnesota? Well, the conservative, patriotic students that belong to this club were criticizing the liberal national anthem protest that took place at their school. And so the conservatives that are proud of this country and proud of our flag spoke out against students that were sitting during the playing of their national anthem at this high school, and the conservatives are the ones that are told to disband by the school district. This is crazy. And they were really upset, these conservative students, and I'm on their side. I'm on their side. They had their free speech rights squashed. And the club banned by the school district in Edina, Minnesota, and because they were coming out and criticizing other students that probably didn't understand Come Here from Sikkim and the value of our flag and our country, and they criticized those students when they were sitting for the national anthem, and then also, listen to this, taps that was played during a Veterans Day assembly. Oh, my goodness. Remember what the Bible said? What is right will be considered wrong, and what was wrong will be considered right. That's where we are. And the Edina Public School District said in a statement that it respects, listen to this closely, it respects and adheres to a state statute and federal law in regard to free speech rights of all students and staff, and welcomes opportunities for ongoing discourse and respectful debate on topics of importance to their stakeholders. What a bunch of liars! They're liars! Because they didn't at all respect the free speech of these conservative high school students that really were Americans. And they were told them they had to disband, and they couldn't speak out. But yet the school district says, in regard to the free speech rights of all students, no, just the left, the liberals, and the USA haters. What are your thoughts on this? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call, please. I'd like to hear from you. Also, don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental Sales Service and Parts, South Lincoln in Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And they do have all the equipment you need to get the job done right. Absolutely. I urge you to get in there and see these folks. They've got all the Bobcat excavators, all the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales, everything at Barry Equipment and Rental, and they're there to serve you. That's right. You get in there today. Again, those locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Barry Equipment and Rental, serving you. Excellent, folks. Once again, you know where we're going to be on Thursday. Yeah, buddy, we're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant. Yep, Merry Christmas from Denny's at 611 Overland in Burley, America's Diner, and Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Yeah, that's right. Jeff at Lee's and Thomas at Denny's, we've all teamed up, and what's going to happen is they're going to be giving away a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner. Oh, my goodness, thank you, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Now, all you have to do to possibly win is get in there today, and if you're having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, just sign your receipt, put your telephone number and your name on that, and you might be the lucky winner. We're going to draw that out on this Thursday while we're over there for the annual Denny's Christmas party, and we're going to do that at 10:45 on Thursday. All of this and more Christmas fun, thanks to Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, and Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More in Burley. All right, your turn. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What is this with this Chelsea Handler? Do you know who this woman is? You know, she's a so-called, and I've listened to and watched a couple of her programs, kind of a wannabe. And she's on television, and I think she's got a mental disorder. I really do. She is obsessed with denigrating and trying to destroy Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I've never seen anything like this. At first, she came out, and it was kind of a verbal slam against Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And then she made a video, absolutely a sick and disgusting video, portraying a makeup wannabe of Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And believe me, I've seen it. You don't want to see it. It's really, really dirty, and it's pathetic. But it almost seems to me like Chelsea Handler is crying for help because she must be mentally unstable. Why would a person go after a person that has done them no harm, hasn't done anybody any harm, is a White House spokesperson and just answering questions and helping distribute the information to the news media? Why is this Chelsea Handler so obsessed with going after, hurting, denigrating, and whatever Sarah Huckabee Sanders? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Absolutely pathetic. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear from you, so give me a call on the landline right now. Zeb at the Ranch, 436-2244. Come on, give me a call. Don't forget, too, Certified Pest Control, Kevin and the crew, and believe me, pests are a nasty part of life. They can be very dangerous in some cases, and I urge you to give them a call at 312-857. Yeah, get rid of the mice, get rid of the voles, get rid of the pests. They can do the job. They did it for me. They can do it for you. Certified Pest Control, 312-8577, and they wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Get a hold of them today. Come on, callers. Let's go. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Talk to me about Adana High School in Minnesota. Can you imagine going after the kids that do things right? The kids that stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. The kids that stand up and put their hand over their heart for the national anthem. And the school district goes after them and tells them they have to disband because they, the conservative kids, were criticizing the liberal snobs and slobs that were sitting during the national anthem and taps. The world is upside down. Let's get a weather forecast in here, sponsored by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, with Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology, at 1218 9th Street, Unit 2, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. And I urge you, to make an appointment today. Don't wait until maybe right during Christmas week. Do it now, because you want to make sure you're hearing everything with the family coming over for the Christmas holidays. Call for an appointment today. 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like this inversion that we're in is going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, well, at least through about Wednesday. Here's your weather for Zevith Ranch as we kick off another work week, and we are looking at areas of dense freezing fog this morning, patchy fog around the valley. Still a little bit on the breezy side as well. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 10 miles an hour. For tonight, widespread haze before midnight, patchy fog before midnight as well. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 13. For tomorrow, widespread haze after 11 o'clock in the morning. Patchy freezing fog for tomorrow morning as well. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 33. That's going to stick around for Tuesday evening with a low right near 16. Wednesday, widespread haze again because of this inversion. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 34. For Wednesday night, partly cloudy skies with a low of 20. So that is your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to everybody by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Dr. Christine Pickup. She knows sound and she knows hearing. Great staff, too. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. All right, your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is also another story that you should know about that goes a step up the education ladder this morning from Edina High School in Minnesota to Fordham University. And it's almost the same thing. Members of the Fordham University College Republicans Club were asked to leave an on-campus coffee shop because some of them were wearing caps that said, "Make America Great Again." Now, this is so despicable. It's an open-to-anybody coffee shop. It's not controlled by any one organization or whatever. It's an open-to-the-world, if you will, coffee shop. And an employee at what's called Rodriguez Coffee House, which is run by students, told the college Republicans they had 5 minutes to get out of the coffee shop because their hats, the caps that said "Make America Great Again," violated the cafe's safe space policy. What? And not only that, while they were sitting at this table minding their own business, the rest of the people in there were encouraged to call them fascists and Nazis. And almost all of these students that came in there just to have a little coffee and enjoy their visit, they got up and left except one from New York. And I really applaud this kid from New York. He said, no, I'm not going to leave, nor am I going to take this cap off. And he said, I have every right in the world to stay here. I'm not causing any trouble. I just want to have a cup of coffee. And he did. He just stuck his chin out and said, I'm not leaving. And you're not going to force me out the door. Now, what was interesting is that this person at the coffee house had said that the hats had violated the cafe's safe space policy Well, when they checked on it with Fordham University, because it's on the campus, Fordham University released a statement saying the college has no safe space policy. It was all a sham, and it was all a liberal attempt to push conservatives out of the coffee shop. Fortunately, one young man didn't do it. He didn't get up and go. He stayed right there. Bully for him. Bully for him. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. Cold weekend. Yeah, last night, we decided when the fog lifted a little bit, we would run over and look at that beautiful light display that is straight south of Hanson, about 6 miles, and it's by that Hanson store out there. Oh, my goodness. The work and the effort that those folks have put into those lights, with not only the lights that are in beautiful formations, but also the Santa Clauses in various forms, and the nativity scenes, beautiful nativity scenes, and the lights were fantastic. And I really want to applaud those people for getting in the Christmas spirit again this year. Wow. If you get a chance to drive over there, just do it. It doesn't take hardly any time at all to go through. Turn your lights off on your vehicle. You can drive through, or there's places to park where you can kind of walk through and enjoy the lights even closer up. Oh, it's beautiful. Just a beautiful display, and really brings out the Christmas spirit in all of us. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call on a Monday morning, I urge you to stop into any one of the 7 Les Schwab Tire Centers, Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and get ready for wintertime driving. Oh my, they've got all the different tread designs for you to get through the snow, the muck, the yuck, the ice, and everything else. And, of course, for your cars, your pickups, your SUVs, everything right there at all 7 locations. The best in all the tire chains and the brake service. My goodness, highly trained brake technicians, the best serving you. And front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. Now, these colder mornings, maybe your car's going, not going to start. Well, you better get in and get your battery checked, and if you need a new one, they've got the best right there at any of the 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Oh, come on. Give me a call. We'll talk about anything we've discussed so far this morning, and I'd like to hear from you. We wish you a Merry Christmas and your family, and if you've started your Christmas shopping, you're heads and shoulders above me already. I always wait till the last week. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, have you done all your Christmas shopping? I think I asked you that last week.
Yeah, I pretty much have gotten everything done, and so
really,
I'm just kind of taking my time since we, got some limited time, and then I'll kind of get everything sent out.
Wow, you're farther ahead than I am. I am way behind. I have not yet started anything for anybody, you included. And I always wait till about the 21st, about the 22nd, and then I give it a hammer go ahead, and I try to take care of everything in about 4 hours.
See, I've caught myself doing that, and so that's kind of why I have already got my parents what they need.
Oh, don't say anything. Don't give it away.
No, I won't. But it's one of those things where I try to stay ahead of the game. But
do you open your presents up on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning?
Well, my family's always done the thing where you get to open one gift on Christmas Eve, and then you get to open the rest on Christmas morning.
I see.
But our family is kind of different since my dad does truck driving for a living. That can kind of mess things up sometimes. So, it just kind of varies from family to family. But, yeah, we like to do that.
Well, I wish you and your whole family, you've got a nice family, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas, as with all of our listeners. But right now, I want to remind everybody again, we're going to be over at Denny's on Thursday for our whole program, the annual Christmas party from 8 to 11. Door prizes, Santa Claus is going to be there, and we're going to have a beautiful choir, and thank you, Burley High School, Burley Junior High. They're going to have a choir over there singing Christmas carols. It's going to be fantastic, and we're going to give away that beautiful Lee's Furniture, Floors and More Flex Steel men's recliner. Oh, you get in there today. Register. Put your name on a receipt along with your phone number. It's going to be fantabulous. Denny's annual Christmas party, and thanks also to Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, coming up this Thursday. Don't you miss it. Right now, we're going to run to the news and be back in about 7 minutes. Well, good morning and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch on a really cold, dreary, foggy winter day. Yep. Monday, December 11th, only 2 weeks from Christmas, however. Everybody smile, get in the Christmas spirit. I know it's a little tough on a day like this, but work at it, okay? Smile and enjoy the day. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Western Way Services, just call them. Please get on the route service. They'll come by and get your garbage. Or if you need dumpsters, they got them in various sizes. Got a special event coming up, need porta potties, they can help you with that. They've got the Go Mini storage units. They've got so much to offer and serve you. Give them a call today at 734-6969. Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Wonderful people. Also, do not forget, we've got Merry Christmas wishes coming out right now, and we'd like to say thank you. Call the Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott and reserve a room for your relatives. That's right. And you pay only $89 on this special, and you have to call. You got to call them at 677-5000. That's right. This is the place for your relatives and friends to stay during the holidays, and not at your house, not using your bathroom. Call Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott. Call them 677-5000. Wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. And also a very Merry Christmas from Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair at 635 21st Street in Heyburn. Oh, he says thank you to all of his customers. And he says, remember the real reason for the season, the birth of Jesus. Thank you and Merry Christmas from Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair in Heyburn. Really a good old boy. Also, real quick, I want to remind you that we are so blessed to have literally the cream of the crop of all advertisers on our program. I've said that for a long, long time. And I maintain that with the dear friends that we have over there at Hanson Mortuary. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving your family. You know, when there's the passing of a loved one, absolutely everything gets thrown up in the air, comes to a screeching halt. You don't know what needs to be done in a short period of time. Just call their number. 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. They can always help you and your family with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Joel Heward, his staff, and his family at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and boy, this is a good friend of mine, and I wish him a very Merry Christmas. Frosty Woldridge, how are you this morning?
And good morning, Zeb, and a Merry Christmas to you and all listening out there and across the country. It's a beautiful time of the year. Certainly one of hopeful love and joy and celebration of the Christ child. So it's just an honor and a pleasure to be with you, Zeb.
You know, Frosty and Wheels, you might have to turn Frosty up a little bit, but Frosty, something happened this morning back in New York, and we're not immune to having this happen more often. An ISIS-inspired bomb went off in the subway station underneath Times Square, and fortunately the bomber had the bomb go off prematurely, and most of the injuries were suffered by the bomber. There were, I think, 4 or 5 other people that had minor injuries, thank goodness. But they have the man under arrest, they have the man in a hospital, they have the man under guard, and I said earlier this morning, and here's what I want you to comment on. I don't want him to be given the rights afforded to you and I. I hope they treat him as an enemy combatant, and they get the information about maybe his network or helping of other friends by any means necessary, if you get my drift. What are your thoughts on that?
Certainly, I would agree. Well, even beyond that, why do we keep importing Muslim terrorists into this country?
Yes.
He's a Bangladeshi Muslim terrorist. He could be an Iraqi Muslim terrorist. He could be an Afghani. He could be a Pakistani Muslim terrorist. He could certainly be a Kurdish Muslim terrorist. We just keep importing all of these Muslims into this country, and no matter what you do, you cannot vet a Muslim. You can't vet a Muslim. They simply are part and parcel of a violent book called the Quran that mandates violence at every juncture. And so we're sitting here dealing with this one guy. He's no different than the marathon bombers, the 2 brothers that bombed the marathon, in Boston. The Times Square driver, 2 years ago, that left a car loaded with plastic C4. We have got to stop importing Muslims into our country, because in any kind of population of Muslims, you're going to have 10%, 5%. I don't care if it's 1%. That means we're going to continue to have more bombings and more terrorist attacks on our soil because we keep importing these Muslims. He's simply just another virus, and he's a virus that's going to continue to spread, and that's the tragedy here. I don't understand why our senators and our House reps have not stopped all Muslim immigration into our country, because the greater their numbers, the greater their number of Muslim terrorist attacks on we the American people. That's a fact that's going to continue, and it just makes me sick to my stomach that there hasn't been a complete ban on Muslim immigration. In fact, we need to stop all immigration into our country.
You know, the fact is that early this morning, this happened at 7:30 in New York time, 5:30 our time, and almost automatically it was found and learned by many of the authorities, and Peter King, an outstanding senator that really understands what's going on with ISIS terrorism, and they came out and said that, yes, it was an ISIS-inspired event. And what's really chilling is that ISIS had come out about 3-4 weeks ago, and they had said in their publication, which I find really ironic, that they were going to do all they could to disrupt America's Christmas this year. And then they had evil cartoons of Santa Clauses dressed up, and possibly terrorists are underneath all the beard and everything. This is really spooky, that there is this kind of hatred, this kind of insurrection, and this kind of terror that could take place during the Christmas season.
Well, there's no question that, again, when we import all these Muslims into this country, we're going to get the Muslim orientation. I mean, even with changing from Tel Aviv, the U.S. Embassy into Jerusalem, you got all those Muslims thousands of them were, chanting and screaming and yelling in New York just a day or two ago because they're not Americans. That's a fact. They're not Americans. They're Muslims. And here's this quote right here by a journalist, Daniel Greenfield, said, and I'm quoting, When you turn on the evening news and see a running death toll, it's happening more and more often. The new brand of Islamic terror only needs one thing: Muslims. Lone wolf terrorism operates off the existing Muslim population in a particular country. The bigger the Muslim population, the bigger the risk. The FBI and other enforcement agencies cannot monitor even a fraction of the Islamic settler population sympathetic to terror. As the Muslim settler population in the country increases, the number of cases will grow here in the United States, unquote. That pretty much says it all. We're simply importing terror into our country with every Muslim we bring to this country, because they will add to that percentage, and then they will be emboldened, and then they'll create more networks of terror. And this guy was a lone wolf, but we're going to see another French Paris situation. We're going to see another Brussels airport situation. And all of us are at risk here, and it's all because our U.S. Congress is sitting on its thumbs, all 535 of them, and letting us become the new collateral damage. That's just what's happening right now in the United States.
And unfortunately, you and I and others that believe like we do, we're called the bigots and the hate mongers. I mean, the shifting of the animus goes to us that are concerned for our country and our welfare. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and the reality is everybody in America is agreeing with us, because we're just the grassroots America. Everybody, I get a lot of comments at the rec center when I go to the rec center 6 days a week to work out. And everybody thanks me for the latest column. Everybody thanks me for speaking up, really. And there's people here in Colorado listening to Zeb at the ranch. I mean, folks are listening to you. And they're all nodding their heads up and down, going, yes, these men are correct. You and I are literally the vanguard of the truth tellers. We're telling it like it is. And so they can, again, I got on one show and somebody came up with that whole racist thing, and it was on Facebook, in fact. And I said, facts are not racist. Facts are not xenophobic. Facts are not nativist. Facts are facts. And it's the fact that the Muslim immigrants in this country all follow the Quran, which has a final directive. It's the prime directive: convert or kill all non-believers. That's what Muslims do. That's what they think. That's how they operate. So if anybody is a racist, the Muslim religion and all of those who follow it are the biggest racists on earth. That's just a fact. You see it play out across the globe wherever they are, all over Europe, all over Canada, all over Australia every day, right now. Muslims, they kill 54 of their women every day.
Oh,
That's
my.
up to 20,000 a year. Do the math, just for honor killings. For women that speak out of, they dishonor the family by wearing a pair of jeans or try to speak up. Oh, my gosh, that's a fact. Honor killings. Why isn't anybody a little bit upset about that and talk about that kind of horror that the Muslim religion continues, or the female genital mutilation? I mean, if they want to get nasty and start calling names, I can come back with the facts, and the facts are the facts, period.
Frosty, I got to shift gears and get to another story right now, and I want your opinion on this. When I heard this story, I was so outraged, I almost threw one of my boots through my widescreen TV. In Edina, Minnesota, conservative high school students were told that they had to shut up and disband by the school district because those students, the conservatives that were standing for the national anthem and standing for taps that was played during a Veterans Day assembly, they criticized the other students that sat there and didn't want to stand. But the free speech of the conservatives was told to get out of town by the school district, and basically the school district supported those that sat during the national anthem and taps during a Veterans Day assembly. I'm telling you, the world is really screwed up.
Well, we're certainly seeing a dislocation, a consequential result of a lack of now about 30, 40 years now of serving America. I'm actually going to write a national service column calling for a 2-year mandate of serving this country through either AmeriCorps or into the military, and even choices to serve in the military in non-combat areas, because there's some that want to not go into combat. Well, then that's fine. But I think we need to reestablish patriotism and loyalty to our country by having every person who's 18 years old, absolutely 100% of them go into the military or go into AmeriCorps, which is a civilian organization that helps and trains kids and gives them an opportunity to help out communities and learn skills. And that's what we need in this country. I mean, 48 million people that are on food stamps right now obviously don't have too many skills. And to me, it would be quite an honor to serve the country in some capacity for 2 years. And then you have an appreciation for your freedoms, an appreciation, and also learning skills that will better you as a person and a contributing member to America in the coming years. That's what we really need. We don't need these situations where people are not standing for the national anthem, not wanting to pledge allegiance to America. Because if you don't have a loyalty to America, you don't have a country in the end.
Yeah. You know, you've led me right into what I wanted to talk about last here this morning. Saturday was the Army-Navy game in the snow, and I had a chance to watch the opening ceremonies, and I'll say this right up front again, and I'm not embarrassed by it, that when I saw all the Army cadets and the Navy midshipmen walking in uniform, walking in place to get to their locations at that great big football stadium, and then, of course, the flags and the pageantry, and then standing with their chins out in pride for the playing of our national anthem, I got to tell you that a thought went through my mind that here are literally thousands of cadets and midshipmen that in just a few more months are going to be taking off that dress military uniform, and they're going to be putting on camo, and they're going to be over protecting this country, maybe laying in the sand in the Middle East, or maybe over at the DMZ in North and South Korea, protecting our country and protecting those slovenly NFL players that absolutely take a knee or take a seat during our national anthem. And I looked at these cadets and these midshipmen with pride, and I look at last night with the NFL with disgust of these overpaid, underworked prima donnas that call themselves professional football players.
Zeb, I just echo what you just said, and completely a ditto on that. I'm ex-Army myself. I watched the game, and I got to tell you, my father served the United States Marine Corps for 27 years. As a paper boy, when I was a kid, I always stopped when the flag went up the flagpole, and I always honor it. I always appreciate the incredible freedoms that we have in this country because of that flag, and every man and woman who served under that flag and died for that flag and for our freedoms and for this U.S. Constitution. And I must say, those spoiled brats, I mean, they literally lack any comprehension of the good fortune that they have in this country. As I said in a column just last week, why don't they're so sad about being here in America, go over and play in the NFL of Africa. Go over there and serve in all of the camps that people are living in thatched huts and starving to death. See what that gets them. I mean, they just don't understand. I mean, there are literally hundreds of thousands of people dying in Africa, literally yearly. Hundreds of thousands die, if not into the millions. And here they are into the greatest country on the planet, and they've got so many choices to have such fulfilling lives. I mean, and you can pick any of them out. I mean, again, that Lynch guy, he's a beast of a man, and he gets to be a beast and a millionaire just running a football. He hasn't any other skills whatsoever. And he sits and takes a knee I think he just sits of them, the same thing. They have no qualifications for much of anything other than playing and running a football and entertaining us.
Yeah.
It's really pathetic on so many levels. It tears my heart out, actually.
And the thing is, Frosty, going back to these cadets and these midshipmen, men and women, like I said, in a couple of months, they're going to be putting on a different uniform, a uniform of the front lines. And I hate to say this, but you know it's true. Many of them may not be here a year from now because they've given their ultimate for the sacrifice for this great United States of America. And when I looked at their faces as the camera panned around that football stadium, and I thought, this is America. It's certainly not those slovenly slobs in the NFL.
Total agreement. This is America. You know, the men and women who serve in the Marine Corps and the Air Force and the Navy and the Army, certainly in the Coast Guard, these are the people that give their lives, give their time, give their honor to the United States of America for each and every one of us that are walking these streets and working each day and living our lives in freedom. Again, those football players, sad on so many different levels. They do not understand their good fortune.
Well, and it goes one step further. I, for one, and I did write a note to the NFL for whatever good it might be, in absolute reference to not giving Roger Goodell his contract back as a commissioner, because I won't say exactly what I said in the letter about him as being not appropriate for the job, but I'll guarantee you he and the lack of leadership of the NFL has caused and exacerbated this problem that should have been nipped in the bud right away.
Well, it certainly should have. Personally, I would have taken a second-string quarterback like Colin Kaepernick, who actually just got the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award last week.
Yeah.
And he just rings so hollow. I am so thankful that he will never see the NFL gridiron again, not only as a second-string quarterback, but he just simply won't see it. But he's created such a rift in our country. Yeah, literally, I would say Barack Obama and Colin Kaepernick, two un-American people that have caused so much consequence to this country in the last 9 years now or so. It's really sad on so many levels. And to be celebrated, I mean, it's just beyond me how we could celebrate such division caused by these two men. It's frustrating, and I suppose at this point we're going to see more and more of it as we lose that sense of America with all of us being Americans, because, again, we're becoming everybody else's country.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse, folks. When you get another 100 million immigrants into this country here in the next 30 years, I don't know how we're going to pull together in the center because, again, as I've said in one of my columns, we're everybody else's country, not our own country. And it's coming out, whether it was the Bangladeshi who blew up himself there in New York City this morning, or Colin Kaepernick, who won't even honor our country, our flag, or our Constitution, or somebody like Barack Obama, who, when the chips come out and the real historians find out where that guy came from and what he did to our country, literally he should be sitting in prison the rest of his life, because he's a man who created treason in our country and frauded our country and all that goes with it. Like I say, it's exasperating beyond comprehension.
I agree. Frosty, again, you're such a dear friend, and I thank you for being on the program. God bless you, man. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next Monday. Thank you so much.
And thank you, and Merry Christmas to each and every one of us. And I'm sorry that we have to talk about these heavy, heavy subjects at this time. And yet our country is in a heavy, heavy subject situation, and I will continue along with you to speak up. And the facts, again, are the facts, and we speak in the facts.
Thank you, Frosty. God bless you, man. Thanks. Frosty Woldridge, Golden, Colorado, a dear friend for a long, long time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from your lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area, past and present. Hardworking, dedicated, strong Idahoans who have been absolutely so important of Idaho's history and are proud to be participating in Idaho's future. Quality lamb and wool products, and they remain a very vital part of our economy here in the state of Idaho and, for that matter, the United States. Once again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from your lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area. Those in the past and those of today. Merry Christmas. That's nice. I like that. Ark Animal Hospital, by golly, don't forget, too, they're located at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. The number to call, 678-1177. You know, I last week urged you, if you have a dog and you let it run down by the Snake River, don't. There is a blue-green algae that's growing right now in the Snake River, which can be, simply put, deadly to your dogs. Absolutely deadly. Keep them away from the river. If you see your dog that he starts to vomit or any kind of seizures, whatever, rush your dogs to Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street in Heyburn, or call 678-1177. They care. They have warm hearts for the cold noses. All right, calls are welcome. And in just a minute, we're going to have our next guest on the program. But I want to remind everybody about our friends over at Santa's favorite place to shop. What am I talking about? We're talking about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley with Jeff and the whole crew. Oh, my goodness. You go ahead and find out about the biggest savings and the...
Right now. It's one of those alerts.
Oh, let me know when it goes back on. Hurry.
You still there, sir?
Yes. Am I back on the air?
Yes, sir. You're still on the air.
All right. I understand they threw a test at us, right?
They did. I heard it over in the cat studio.
Okay, my friend. Thank you. Once again, I want to remind you about Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more. I think I can start telling you again. They're Santa's favorite place to shop. And don't forget, they've got a great deal for you. No money down, no interest, up to 12 months on approved credit. And they've got all the sofas. And they've got all the recliners. What a great selection of recliners. And the chairs and the bedroom sets and the dining room sets. Please take it upon yourself to wish yourself a Merry Christmas and get in there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley, Santa's favorite place to shop. In just a moment, we're going to have our next guest on the air. Those little tests came up, and Deanne come running in and saying, you're off the air temporarily, so we're back on and ready to rock and roll. And in just a moment, we're going to have one of my favorite people, Richard Manning, on the program with us. Want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. And, of course, the best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more with a staff that really serves you, your family, and your business. Please call them today at 436-4424. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. And also Merry Christmas wishes. I'm sorry to double up here. I didn't know we went off the air with that test a moment ago. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 in Rupert. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. Don't forget they've got all the 2018 snowmobiles. They've got all the four-wheelers. They've got all the side-by-sides. Fantastic accessory department. Anything you might need or want to wear, whatever, it's all there in that accessory department at Let's Ride. And don't forget, too, a great service department to keep you running. At Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and it's really, really true. This is where the fun is sold. Okay, right now we're going to go to the phone line, and I've got to admit that I'm very, very happy to have this gentleman on my program this morning. He's the president of Americans for Limited Government, and I say a good morning to Richard Manning. Sir, how are you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Dad. I'm doing great. How about you?
Well, I'm sorry for a little bit of a delay, but the FCC had one of those little tests for us, so they threw us off and threw me behind for a little bit.
It happens, you know. Federal government getting its fingers into everything.
You know, let me ask you, what are your feelings? I love the way you're outspoken on this program, because that's the way I am. What do you think about what Trump is doing, or perhaps not doing, to drain the proverbial swamp back in D.C.?
Well, I think he's. I give him a B. Okay, I'd give him a B. And I give him a B because on the regulatory front and trying to rip back the power of the administrative state, he's doing a lot of really good and important things in rolling back regulations and doing and really challenging this notion that the bureaucracy is a self kind of perpetuating entity that can't be challenged. And he really is taking it on full force. This latest thing with the Consumer Financial Protection Board, where the outgoing administrator tried to put in a director of his choosing rather than the director of the president's choosing. And President Trump just said no. He didn't have anything, didn't let the guy get away with it. He put his person into place and really has a chance now to slap down the entire unconstitutional agency because he's got the right director in place. So, he's making a lot of good steps. I only give him a B, though, because, quite honestly, a lot of his personnel decisions are fails. He's either left in place people who shouldn't have been left in place for way too long, or he's put people in place who are basically just rehashes of the Bush administration, who really aren't on board in terms of restructuring and kind of realigning America and draining the swamp. He's put some swamp people into place. That's dangerous. Probably the biggest complaint I have, and I don't spend a lot of time saying negative things about Trump because I think he's doing a spectacular job overall. But my biggest complaint in this area is he hasn't put. He takes it a point of pride that he hasn't hired like 2,000 political appointees that normally every president would have had hired by now. That you don't have to get approved by Congress. You don't have to say Senate. You just appoint them and they're in. And he looks at that as being financially responsible. But the reality is those 2,000 employees are there for a very specific reason, and that is to try to make certain that all the federal government grants that go out to these left-wing groups, that they get stopped, that the contracts that are being let to left-wing advocacy, public relations firms and law firms, that they get stopped. That the federal government funding of the left is ended. And that's what all those little positions that nobody knows about who they are, but they're the guys who grab a hold of the bureaucracy and they pull as hard as they can to try to turn it. Because it's like a big aircraft carrier, and you're trying to turn it, and if you turn it 1 or 2 degrees every month, you eventually get it turned around. But you can't do it all with one big yank. And you need all those people pulling on the ropes to be able to make it happen. Because right now we're still giving grants out to people who are left wing. We're still giving out contracts to people who are essentially Hillary Clinton's PR firms. So it's really that part of it. I don't think he's done a great job on. But I'm hoping that this next year we'll get our arms around that and be able to end the federal government taxpayer funding of the left.
Okay, now, Richard, I'm not playing devil's advocate in favor of Donald Trump because everybody knows he has some holes in his screen door. But I will say this, that I don't think in my lifetime, and I'm an old man, that I have ever seen an administration take over and have more resistance, have more absolute hate from the left, have more disavowance, if you'll use that word, that he is president. They don't even want to honor the fact that he's in charge. And with your B, you've got to admit that this president probably has come in with more headaches than any other administration in our nation's history.
Agreed, 100%. That's, it is and that's why I gave you a very specific reason why it's only a B, because he could get an A simply by putting the people in place to help him do the job. But yes, the fact is that to this day there are people and still remain in place who every day of their life they wake up and say, how can I wait out the Trump administration? It's only a little over 3 years. What can we do to stop them from doing what they want to do and block what they're trying to do, what he was elected to do? And in every administrative agency, there's people like that. Most of them are careers, civil servants. So they've got protections, but you can move them out of the way. You can move them into positions where they don't have the capacity to block stuff. I can tell you, and I can't tell you what agency this is because I was told this on confidence, but I can tell you I know of one agency where 4 people have been fired. They were fired 4 weeks ago. And those people are still in the positions that they held because the people in the HR and the people who are in the human resources, the people who are in the bureaucracy are essentially trying to hold off the firings in the hope that the person who fired them will lose their job so they can go back to the way it was working. So there literally is a concerted effort to obstruct even the restructuring of personnel from being directed from cabinet level officials, and I've never seen anything like it. It is, it's been called a silent coup. It is a silent coup. And Donald Trump, the fact that he has accomplished as much as he has in the wake of this just almost death throes thrashing around to the left within the government is astonishing. He's a man of great intestinal fortitude, because if I had experienced this and I was president of the United States, my Twitters might not be as kind as his. So so I might be tweeting a little meaner than he does, and that's so I have a great deal of admiration for what he's done. He just needs to bring some more people into the ball game to help him achieve his mission.
I agree. Richard, I have never seen the likes of hatred that is displayed towards other members of the cabinet, i.e., I'm talking about this Chelsea Handler, absolutely psychotic woman that has a television show and a talk show, and she has a complete disdain and hatred for Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Why, I don't know. At first it started just verbally, and now it's gone into the media as a form of a video mocking and belittling Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Why this hate and disdain for this person and others of the Trump administration? I just don't understand it.
Well, one thing that the feminist left can't stand are competent conservative women. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders is doing an extraordinary job in a very difficult circumstance. She's tough. She's everything that has been held up to us by the feminist left of what women are supposed to be, except they're not allowed to be that if they're on the conservative side. I am a big believer that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to be a U.S. senator or better before her career ends. She's I don't know her, okay, so I have no dog in the fight. I just think anybody who is that smart, that tough, we need that person in elected office to be to taking that intelligence and toughness to solving the country's problems.
I totally agree. You mentioned the swamp must cut spending, and we talked briefly about it a few moments ago. I am so sick and tired of hearing reports and seeing and reading reports about hamsters on a treadmill or giving money for some stupid, insane, totally ridiculous study, millions and millions and millions of dollars adding up into billions of wastage. How do you stop this, though, other than the constituents themselves calling their senators and congressmen or demanding that they give an accounting of what they're voting for? I think it's got to start with the grassroots level and not with the president just himself.
Well, I agree. Congress has Article 1 responsibility to oversee the spending, and Congress needs to be active in this. Something that we've been doing is we've spent about 4 years on something called an Article 1 project, which is designed to try to get Congress to start using defunds, start using their power of the purse to actually tell the executive branch what they're supposed to be doing with the money, as opposed to giving them open-ended kind of approvals on expenditures. Think of them as earmarks in reverse. Earmarks, which they got rid of, where Congress would say, oh, I want this money spent on the Nevada Cowboy Museum, okay? And they spend, $1 million on the Nevada Cowboy Museum. But this is a earmark in reverse. This is where you say, listen, the Office of Civil Rights and the Department of Justice is engaging in activism to the point that they are effectively inciting riots around the country. We're going to cut their community services budget and limit their activities to X, Y, and Z. That would be a case of Congress actually using their power of the purse to force an administration into taking action that they might not otherwise want to take, or limiting their action that they can take. That's what we've been working on for a while. The objective is to get the House Appropriations Committee to be, as opposed to being funders, to get them to be defunders, remember what they ran on, and start picking apart these programs that are meaningless and getting rid of them. A simple example, and you know that I worked at the Labor Department under George W. Bush. About 3/4 of the Labor Department budget is grants that go out to various groups and the like to implement various policies that the Department of Labor is trying to get implemented. It's a relatively simple process to grab a hold of that grant process as a overseer, as an appropriations committee, and to say, no, you're not going to give grants to groups that have done certain things in the past politically. It's very easy for them to demand an audit of those grants and bring in the top recipients of those grants to have them make an accounting of how they spent the money. Did they spend the money they were supposed to? If they started actually acting as kind of an overseer over the funds and as the ombudsman over the public treasury before they give more money, then people would take the House of Representatives carefully and would take them seriously when they were talking about getting rid of certain grants, getting rid of sweetheart deals, getting rid of contracts that are designed to give money to, in the case of the Department of Labor, give money to labor-oriented law firms to sue the business community out of existence using federal government funds. Those are things that the House of Representatives, that the Appropriations Committee could do, and those are things the Appropriations Committee should do. And we've been working hard to get them to do that and actually assume their Article I responsibility under the Constitution to look after the people's treasury.
One last thought. I've got about 4 minutes left in the segment, Richard, is that peace on earth, peace right here in the United States. With the fragmentation and the division going on, East Coast, West Coast, and with the sanctuary cities and people defying what the law is and just saying they're going to protect more the illegal aliens than they are the citizenry and the taxpayers of this country, How can we bring this country back together so that we all look up at the red, white, and blue, put our hand over our heart, and thank God we live in America?
It's a great question. I ask myself that question almost every day. We live in a time where the country is divided 50-50. And the future, obviously is in doubt. But, we've lived in times like that in the past, and it's been, ultimately, this is what I believe. This country was knitted together by God. This country was knitted together to be a shining beacon on the hill of freedom and of Judeo-Christian values. Our founding was based on that, and our ethos is based on that. The moral codes that we live by, our very laws, are based upon the laws handed down to Moses in terms of the Ten Commandments. So we have an ethos that in this country that's under attack, and I'm not certain I don't know if we can bring it back together. I know that every single person has a common hole in their heart. And in that hole in their heart, there's a desire. It's a desire for that needs to be filled. And I'm not going to go into theology, but But freedom is one of the key elements that exists in everybody. It's a desire for freedom, and we have to rally around it, defining rather than yelling at each other. We have to define what that common freedom is, what that common agreement place gets to. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that with everybody, but I still believe that a vast majority of Americans believe that individual freedoms are the single most important aspects of our nation, and that if we lose those, we lose our essence. So I don't know. That's where I kind of hang my hat on, but yelling at each other doesn't seem to work. So maybe if we just lowered our voices and talked a little bit about what's right, what's wrong, we might be able to find out some areas of agreement, even with those who claim to not believe that there's any such thing as moral absolutes.
Amen. Amen. I wished I had that all in a book version. Richard Manning, President for Americans for Limited Government, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you for your thoughts this morning. It meant a lot. Thank you so much for being on the program.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Take care. Thank you. I like having him on the show. Richard Manning, President of Americans for Limited Government. He has worked directly with President Trump in the past on trade issues. Good guy. Really a good guy. Right now it's time for the weather. Holy smokes, I'm running late. And the weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with 2 offices, Burley and Rupert. And as you know, and you should know, that our friends at Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. And they want to wish everybody listening a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And if you have questions about your taxes, don't hesitate. Give them a call. Like I said, 2 locations, Burley and Rupert, Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Right now, here's the weather.
Looks like this inversion that we're in is going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, well, at least through about Wednesday. Here's your weather for Zevith Ranch as we kick off another work week, and we are looking at areas of dense freezing fog this morning, patchy fog around the valley. Still a little bit on the breezy side as well. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 10 miles an hour. For tonight, widespread haze before midnight, patchy fog before midnight as well. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 13. For tomorrow, widespread haze after 11 o'clock in the morning. Patchy freezing fog for tomorrow morning as well. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 33. That's going to stick around for Tuesday evening with a low right near 16. Wednesday, widespread haze again because of this inversion. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 34 for Wednesday night. Partly cloudy skies with a low of 20. So that is your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by our friends Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Offices in Burley and Rupert. And if you have any questions about your taxes, don't hesitate. Call them. They can and they will help you. The best. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company. Oh, my goodness sakes. Also, real quick, I got time for a phone call or two. This morning I've noticed that people must have slept in or something. Maybe the fog messed up their telephone or whatever. I don't know. Don't forget, for your Christmas shopping, go to one of my very all-time favorite places, and that's Sportsman's Warehouse. 1940 Bridgeview in Twin Falls with Reese and the crew. In every department, and it's really true, they've got experts that are working there that can just absolutely answer your questions and steer you on to the right equipment for you. Whether you're into hunting or archery or fishing or boating or whatever. I mean, they've got everything in there at Sportsman's Warehouse. And I urge you to stop in and do your Christmas shopping today. They've got special prices on Carhartt clothing too. Absolutely the best. Where? Reese and the staff at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview in Twin Falls, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. It's true. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call, I want to remind you that this Thursday, a couple of days, we're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, for the annual Christmas party. They're going to have it all decorated up like one great big Santa house with all the decorations and the Christmas tree and everything. And we're going to be broadcasting live and direct over there from 8 to 11. And Wheels is going to be running the board. I wished he could come over to the Christmas party. We're going to have door prizes. Santa Claus is going to be there. We're going to have choirs from the Burley Senior and Junior High School. Thank you, Dusty Fisher, for all that you do. And you can register also for our grand prize. We're going to be giving away compliments of Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner. Now, you can stop in today and have breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time. And when you go to the cash register, sign your receipt with also your telephone number, and you might be the lucky winner we're going to draw for on Thursday for that beautiful recliner. Thank you, Jeff and the crew at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Don't forget this great big Christmas party with Thomas and Terry, the whole crew, over at 611 Overland in Burley. And that's Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. That's coming up on this Thursday. We'll be over there live and direct. Oh, and we can't run a remote broadcast without having Wheels over at the main studio, and he does a great job. He'll be fielding all the telephone calls and everything else on that Thursday, so thank you to Wheels for holding down the ship. Got time for a quick call. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Tonight, I got to get this in real quick. Tonight at, what time? 7:30 p.m., the American Falls Community Choir, directed by Dan Bowman and accompanied by David Bowman, will be presenting their annual Christmas concert at the Rupert United Methodist Church, 605 H Street in Rupert. Starts at 7:30. It's a community event. Come one, come all. And there's going to be light refreshments served and a love offering accepted. And if you need more information, call them at 436-3354. Caller, I got 1 minute. Go ahead, please.
Morning, Zeb. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Mike, your friend, the gas man over here, bringing you some diesel to Magic Valley.
Okay.
Wanted to let you know in this new e-log stuff, us drivers are being crammed down our throat by the federal government. You've probably heard of it.
Yes.
Starts next Monday. Officially, y'all got to be on it. We just put 25, I think, 28 into the truck. There's about 6 of them that won't even fire up and work.
Hey, Mike, I tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm not trying to defer this conversation, but you can look at your watch and see that I'm running out of time. I've got Clay Handy. Listen to me. I've got Clay Handy from Handy Truck Lines coming on Wednesday to talk about these problems. So tune in Wednesday at 9:30. He'll be on the air, okay?
Okay, appreciate it.
Hey, buddy, you bet. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right, buddy. Hey, right now, let's go to the news from CBS, and Wheels is going to carry that. We'll be back in about 7 minutes with more Zeb at the Ranch. Oh, here we go. I'm missing my Christmas music this morning. My goodness. And Merry Christmas to you and yours from Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Don't forget, on Thursdays we have a segment called Cassia County School Days on our program, and it's brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. All the winter dresses and the stuffed animals and toys for the kids and all the baby furniture, it's all there at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. Also, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley. Your outpatient surgeries, and they can save you money at the Ambulatory Surgery Center, 677-8888. Call them today. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County on Thursdays at 10:10. We got a couple of Merry Christmas wishes quickly before we get our guest on the phone. I want to say thank you and Merry Christmas from Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 1000 South of Burley. And, of course, their business of selling quality seed to quality people, and they wish everybody a very Merry Christmas from Golden Valley Warehouse. Tim and the crew at Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. They can build anything. Dairy parlors, robotic barns, you name it, they can get the job done. Streamline fine precision. 678-9204, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Our dear friend Joe Taylor, 425 Overland in Burley. Buy or sell real estate, one call does it all. Call Joe. He is the best realtor ever. I just love that guy. Joe Taylor, 425 Overland in Burley. Merry Christmas. And Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main Street in Oakley. Great ideas for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. I'll stay with Christmas right now due to the fact that Thanksgiving's over with. And don't forget that famous sausage from Grandma's Recipe, bulk, patties, or links. It is good. Merry Christmas from Clark's for Shopping in Oakley. Whoa, right now, let's say Merry Christmas to our guest. And this, I'm going to say her name wrong. I know I am, but I'm going to do my best. Chelsea Human, is that correct?
That's close. It's Yeoman. But I even said it wrong up until almost before you're married. So.
All right, Chelsea Yeoman, and good morning. And you're on behalf of the First Liberty Institute. I know we're going to have a good conversation. You are going to be telling us and bringing us up to speed as to what's going on with this Masterpiece Cake Shop owner, Jack Phillips, and the homosexual and gay agenda demanding that he make a cake for two homosexuals and they're getting married. Why don't you bring us up to speed as to how this case came about and where we are right now?
That's right. It is a really important case for everyone to be watching at the Supreme Court level. Essentially, Jack Phillips is a baker out of Colorado who is a Christian, and he bakes cakes and serves everyone, all types of people, every walk of life. But he does not make these created cakes for certain events. And so he was approached by a same-sex couple to bake a cake for their wedding. And these are custom cake designs. There's a lot of creativity that goes into it. They call themselves artists, bakery artists, which as someone who can't bake, I can appreciate. But when he was approached and asked to do the same-sex wedding, he said, I can't bake a custom cake for that event because, his religious beliefs on marriage, just won't let him. And so the couple left angry, were able to get a cake somewhere else, but still sued him. And really, this is the first case of its kind to get up to the Supreme Court since the original same-sex marriage case was decided a couple years ago. So this is the first big case we're seeing where religious liberty rights and the new fundamental right to same-sex marriage are both kind of colliding a little bit.
Let me say this, Chelsea, that to me, and you can tell me I'm wrong, I got big shoulders, but to me this is nothing more than poking people in the eye. These absolute homosexuals wanted to prove a point. They wanted to denigrate this man. They wanted to destroy his business. They want to take over every aspect of our life, and they want to destroy Christianity. I know that's a lot to swallow in one lump sum, but I think this man has every right, like what the sign says when you walk into any business, no shirt, no shoes, no service. That's as discriminatory as anything, I guess. Why can't he have the right to say no?
Right. Well, I think that's the big issue before the Supreme Court, and definitely at First Liberty Institute, we filed an amicus brief on behalf of Jack Phillips because we have our own bakers out of the state of Oregon, your neighbors, Aaron and Melissa Klein, and they were shut down and penalized $135,000 for the same instance. Now, keep in mind, I think it's important to note for everyone that this really isn't about who is asking them to bake the cake, because Aaron and Melissa Klein had served, in our case, that same-sex couple multiple times for all types of events for their family. But when it came to a certain type of event, like a wedding for a same-sex couple, they don't serve wedding events, regardless of who had asked them to do that. And I think it's also important to note they also never catered divorce parties, which they were asked to do, or certain Halloween events. They didn't make cakes for bachelor and bachelorette parties. So it's really more about the event than it is about the person asking. That's just an important legal thing to note.
This case, I've been very familiar with it ever since the get-go, and I've had numerous people on the air talking about this. But if they lose, they being Jack Phillips and his family with Masterpiece Cake Shop, do you mean to tell me, and I'm probably going to the extreme here, but that any group could force like Jews that own a cake shop maybe to bake a cake in honor of Adolf Hitler? I mean, am I going to the extreme? But really, that's kind of the same premise, isn't it?
No, that's actually an example that I've heard restated a lot. And a lot of concerns is that, the truth is when you get down to someone using their artistic talent to be commissioned for an event or something else, it's really a free expression. And just like the government can't limit you and tell you you're not allowed to say certain things, the government cannot compel your speech anyways. And that's one of the major issues before the Supreme Court is the argument that the government is essentially forcing them to use their artistic, creative abilities to convey a message that's against their religious beliefs.
And I'm looking at this thing, Chelsea, to where I guess I'm a little nervous, and I'll tell you why. Because I think if the Supreme Court goes against Jack Phillips, then all of us, whether it is a talk show, and we're commanded to take advertising over something that we don't believe in, or whether it's an entertainer commanded to entertain at a function that he doesn't want to be a part of. I mean, the sky's the limit, and the lawsuits are going to always be prevalent.
I mean, that's certainly the fear, definitely. And at First Liberty Institute, we do exclusively religious liberty cases, and it's so important. It is the first protection, the first constitutional right we have in our Constitution, and it's outlined for a reason. The next one is speech, because we really believe that it's such a fundamental right to our society, and allowing freedom of thought and freedom of belief, and really everyone to flourish. It's so vital to protect that.
How do you think this is all going to shake out?
We really don't know. The oral arguments were last Tuesday, and then we expect an opinion to be issued by the end of the Supreme Court's term. So next summer, we'll expect this to be resolved. In oral arguments, the liberal justices tend to lean liberal, the conservatives leaned conservative, and then Justice Kennedy is our swing vote justice, we call him. He is always in the middle, and he actually made a lot of questions to the individuals who sued Jack Phillips. So we're hopeful, but not certain, and definitely an important issue for everyone to be paying attention to.
We've really lost in this country our free speech. We've lost our ability to say no. We've lost our ability to stand up for personal beliefs, i.e. our Christianity, etc. I hate to sound negative, but I'm very concerned that we're on a downhill slope and we're rolling like a big snowmobile or a snowball in the wrong direction.
Well, I hope you're not right, but it's certainly the way that every country who has already legalized same-sex marriage, the next real issue in the courts are religious liberty issues, and we've seen that in Canada, we've seen it in England, where speech rights are significantly limited, religious adherence are limited, and we just think that everyone has a right to live according to their faith.
What about Jack Phillips? This man and his family, after all this time, boy, I tell you, mentally that has to drain a person. Health-wise, it's got to be a big negative. What's the standing with this family? I mean, I absolutely stand up and applaud them for their courage to fight this, but what are they doing right now? Are they able to withstand the onslaught of the liberal left?
Clients are so courageous and strong to be in the position they're in, and I can't speak specifically to him and how he's dealing with it. I know that our clients are the Kleins, and it's very tough. They've lost their family business. They're very passionate about what they do. They love baking cakes. They're creative people. They use it as an artistic outlet and a way to serve others. And so really it is so devastating to have everything you know and love be taken away from you just because of your religious beliefs.
I just can't even imagine that if I owned that cake store, and somebody walked in to me and said, Zeb, you want to build us or bake us a cake for our wedding? And I said very politely, no, that is against my thoughts and beliefs. But if you'll go down 2 blocks and then turn left and go a half a block, there's another cake baker that probably will serve your needs. What was the beef? And I know he did that. He did give recommendations for someone else. I mean, why couldn't that have just been the end of it right there?
Right. Well, that's a really great point, is that we should all be able to live according to our beliefs, whatever they are, which means it's a two-way street. We respect the religious adherents' rights to adhere to their religion at work, and we respect the same-sex married couples to be able to go be married and their fundamental right to that. And so I think that there's a way for us to all live peaceably. We just have to respect diversity of beliefs and thoughts and know that the government can't force you to convey a message that you don't agree with.
Yeah, but Chelsea, it doesn't seem like the left is going to be happy with that. They're not going to sit back in their lawn chair and say, okay, fine, that's it, we'll just do it your way. They just want to go after, and they want to throttle, and they want to change, and they want to stop anybody that's against their movement. I'm being blunt about it, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah, that's definitely something we're seeing happen across the border. There are florists, there are bakers, but there's also a ton of people in the country that Obergefell actually addressed the issue. Kennedy, in his majority opinion, said religious adherents must be able to express their millennia-old beliefs. And so hopefully Justice Kennedy will still hold on to that. He said it in his opinion 2 years ago, and we hope in this case that he still agrees with that.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit, I've had other people on with First Liberty Institute, but tell me a little bit more about what you do and how you get involved.
Well, you can go to our website at firstliberty.org. We are the largest nonprofit in the country dedicated exclusively to religious liberty.
Okay, I didn't mean to shock you. When you hear the moo of a cow on my program, it means we have a telephone call. So, okay.
Oh, great.
Chelsea, stand by. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
I just have a thought and a question with all of this. Just what is the probability of just this case being so public affecting fear of other people and businesses of it being challenged in courts and, the cost of everything to the family and everything that it involves? I mean, isn't there a fear factor that maybe is instilled with other business owners that stand in line for some of this that may happen to them next?
I'll have her answer that on the air, ma'am. Thank you. If you would please address that call, Chelsea, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely have seen an increase in what we call religious liberty attacks across the country. That doesn't always result in litigation. Sometimes a demand letter is sent. Sometimes someone just threatened to be sued. But we publish a book every year that tracks every instance we can find of religious hostility. And the instances have over doubled. They've over doubled in the last 2 to 3 years. So we just say that our clients are very brave adherents of their faith. They just want to live out their faith and not have the government tell them what to do. And they have very strong religious liberty protections. So you have to remember we have 225 years of constitutional law protecting your religious beliefs and your right to live out those beliefs. And so even though they're being tested and even though those threats are on the rise, know that the law is on your side and that religious people can live out their faith at work and at school. And we have resources to let you know where those lines are on our website at firstliberty.org for teachers, for military service members, for students, for nonprofit organizations, churches. We have resources for everyone to know what your rights are, and that's the first step, is truly to become educated.
And what you said right there, I'd like you to elaborate on a little bit when I say this to you, that most people today, whether they're business owners or they're some group or whatever, when they feel threatened by the liberal left coming after them, a lot of people will cow in the face of adversity, and they'll basically kneel down and say, okay, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. But it's about high time people stood up, gave you a call, and fought back, and we could eliminate a lot of this idiocy that's permeating itself in our society.
Right. Well, so many people just don't even know what their rights are. And so to call us if you have any issues, whether it's an employment issue, if your boss is saying that you can't pray at work, things like that, we are here to protect and stand in the gap for people who need to stand up for their rights.
When you say pray at work, or a coach, as a matter of fact, praying with his athletes prior to or after a game or whatever, have we got that low in this country that we're going to just continually see the left going after prayer and God and people that have faith?
Well, it's certainly what we're experiencing in our line of work.
Well, I want to say thank you to you for coming on the program this morning, and I wish you the best. I think very highly of your organization, and I'm going to say the name again and see if I can get it right. Chelsea Yeoman.
Yeoman, that's right, and I'll actually be in Kimberly, Idaho over Christmas, so I'm excited that I got to be on your show today.
You're kidding. Kimberly, Idaho, I have to drive through it every day, as a matter of fact.
It's beautiful. My mom is originally from Kimberly, so every Christmas we go up and see my grandparents and cousins, and I love Idaho. It's a home away from home.
Well, tell your mom, and I bet she knows who I am, and tell her to go ahead and put the Christmas presents under your tree, and we'll be there to open them up.
That's right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, Chelsea, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on the program. Chelsea Yeoman with the First Liberty Institute. Small world, isn't it? She's going to be in Kimberly for the Christmas holidays. You know, that poor cake owner of that business, Jack Phillips, and what's happened to him and other businesses. He's not the only one that suffered with the gay agenda in this country, making their demands and then going after the owners and basically just crucifying these people and taking their life's work and destroying it. Insidious and filthy. And it's about high time we all fought back. Calls welcome, 436-2244, and I thank that lady for a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Merry Christmas from Senator Kelly Anthon. You know, Kelly is the kind of a guy that he really cares. I mean, every time I've had him on this program, I've called and I said, can you help me on this, that, or the other? He prepares and he gets the information. He is really prepared. And on behalf of his family and himself, he wants to wish you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Idaho Senator Kelly Anthon. Good guy. Really a good guy. And while we're passing out Christmas wishes, let's not also forget our dear friend and that Speaker of the House and Representative Scott Bedke. Holy cow, there's a rancher that understands the land, and he understands Idaho and the people that live here. And he absolutely is always available to help you and take your calls and pursue the information necessary to help you. Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke, wishing you and your family a very, very happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Okay, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I had another little public service announcement here I needed to get on today because the event's coming up on this next Saturday, and it's the second annual Mickey Claus Day for children, and it's going to be December 16th, and from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at 323 First Street in Rupert. $5 admission, includes a gift. And for any questions about this second annual Mickey Claus Day for Children, with the proceeds going to the Minnecasia Shelter Incorporated Advocates Against Violence. Very worthwhile cause. It's going to be coming up this next Saturday, and it's going to be from, let me see the time, 10 to 2. And, you know, the problem is with this PSA, they don't say where it is. Well, they give the location, 323 First Street in Rupert. So if you know where that is in your mind's eye, 323 First Street in Rupert, try to be in attendance for the second annual Mickey Claus Day for Children. Okay, what else have we got cooking? Oh, tonight, I said I'd get this on one more time. It is the American Falls Community Choir, directed by Dan Bowman and accompanied by David Bowman. They're going to be having this is really a neat deal, you know, to get in the Christmas spirit. They're going to be presenting their annual Christmas concert at the Rupert United Methodist Church at 605 8th Street, and it's going to start at 7:30 p.m. tonight. Community event, bring your friends and neighbors, Aunt Martha, Uncle Fred, everybody be there. Light refreshments are going to be served, and a love offering will follow. And for more information, you can call the church right now, I think, at 436-3354. That is coming up tonight. Get in the Christmas spirit. I don't care what you have to do. If you like going around and looking at the lights of all the various homes that have really put forth a lot of effort in putting up different light displays, or if there's some kind of a Christmas pageant to go to, whatever, or Christmas music, I'm telling you, go ahead and make fun of old Zeb, but I listen to Christmas music every day starting this past weekend, and I will all the way through Christmas. I just love all that Christmas music. You know, I'll be home for Christmas and White Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Gene Autry, one of the old stalwarts. I love this time of year. So be a part of it. And don't forget, too, this Thursday, we'll be celebrating Christmas early over at Denny's annual Christmas party at 611 North Overland in Burley. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, will be there for the entirety of our program from 8 to 11. Door prizes, Santa Claus, choirs. We're going to have kids singing right there like we did a couple of years ago. It's beautiful. Thank you, Dusty Fisher. God bless you, man. Burley High School and Junior High, they're going to have great choirs there. It's going to be really a fun-filled event. And you can register for that Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More recliner we've been telling you about all morning. All you do is put your name on the receipt, put your telephone number on there, and you might be the lucky winner. You can get in there today and get registered at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner at 611 North Overland in Burley for that great big annual Christmas party coming up on this Thursday. I'm excited. Can't hardly wait. We're going to have Santa there and everything. I know Santa Claus personally, and he's going to bring all the reindeer and park them up on top of the roof. Oh, boy, going to be a fun, fun day. Right now, we're going to, in the fog and the mist and everything of a cold December day, send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
You know, I want to highlight and thank a part of our agriculture and our economy for our great state of Idaho for years and years and years. And that is a Merry Christmas wish and a Happy New Year's wish from your lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area, past and present. These are people that are really dedicated to their raising of great product, the sheep and the lambs, and they're hardworking, dedicated, strong Idahoans who have been a major part of our Idaho history and are proud to be participating in Idaho's future. Absolutely a great big salute to the lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. That's nice. I like that. Also, we want to say real quick, Merry Christmas wishes from Representative Fred Wood. There is a guy that absolutely is really dedicated and committed to serving all of his constituents here in Idaho. Representative Fred Wood cares about you and your family, and boy, believe me, he's been on the program many, many times talking about the different issues before they go to the legislative session, etc., and we have a lot of respect for what he does and what he represents. And he and his family want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Representative Fred Wood. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I believe we have with us the computer guru, and he's going to be coming on the program right now, and that's Michael Doherty. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
Michael, every time I have you on the program, I feel really intimidated because I am dumber than dirt when it comes to computers and everything else. I didn't even know what an emoji was until about a month ago. And now you're telling me, I read a little cheat sheet that there's a criminal threat via emojis. What are you talking about?
Well, it all boils down to that age-old, saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So it's just string together. There's a case in New Zealand where they strung together some emojis threatening someone. So if you take an emoji that's a happy face, that's fine. But if you take an emoji that's a dead corpse and a finger pointed at you and then maybe a picture of a gun, some people can think that would mean something that's not really good to say. Now, I don't know if you're going to go to prison for murder, but some people would call that harassment. So you have to keep things in perspective. But the bigger picture is people interpreting free speech, what crosses a line, and who gets to decide that in a cyber world.
Okay. And I really appreciate you bearing with somebody as dumb as I am as when it comes to the cyber world, etc. But you mean that somebody could put together an emoji that might threaten or make a threatening visual that maybe they want the person dead or whatever, or maybe a text to somebody that might get you thrown in jail? Is that where we're at in this world today right now with all this social media?
Yeah, although I will tell you, they seem to be there in New Zealand. We've got different laws here, and honestly, our judicial system has done a terrible job keeping up with technology, really antiquated stuff, which is why people can get away with so much. But yeah, we're headed in that direction. It's combined. It's taking extremes like that and then combining with people that want to be the politically correct police on the internet, because the phone lines in the years past are the phone lines, and those are considered, public utilities. The Internet, if you're using Facebook or your cell phone service or your text, or, sometimes you're considered to be on people's private companies' stuff, and you agree to that when you click the fine print when you say, I want to use it. And then you don't realize that while they're not charging you, they do get to decide what is politically correct, what is appropriate. And they also, and this is where the controversy comes in, because then you get into the gray zone, and then they start deciding if that's hateful or not. And usually the hateful people are the ones that think that the left is just fine and everything someone on the right says is hateful. And then you start, then you're like, who's the decider? But when you enter a private organization and if you sign a contract, you give those things up.
Michael, I guess I'm going to ask you, with my lack of intelligence on this issue, I do know that the Internet is comprised of a lot of filth and a lot of stuff that, quite frankly, is junk that should never be seen or attempted to be seen by anyone. Has it got too far? Has it got too big? Has it got way too powerful? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think it's good. I think this is just good upheaval. It forces people to confront things and get out of their comfort zones, because, we're pretty spoiled in America that we have so many freedoms, and where we're spoiled that we just take them for granted. And we don't understand that most of the world is run by governments that really hate the Internet because you're able to circumvent their power. So they do everything they can to clamp down. This is why there's a big controversy with Apple being so cooperative with China, to do business, because there's so much money there, yet then they, get along with some of the access restrictions, which you could argue is fine for a business move, but then don't run around trying to portray yourself as a human rights judge or champion. So it's, are you doing it for business, or are you doing it for other reasons? So it's complicated, but I think freedom is messy, and the country started from a mess in a very confrontational way, and that's something that's allowed in this country, as long as we're civil about it.
Well, when you look at the situation, and maybe I'm way off the rails here this morning, worrying about things like this that I can't control, but you know more about it than I do. But when you look at, like, ISIS and using the Internet to tell people how to build bombs and maim, kill, and destroy, or how to run trains off the track with various uses of technology and bombs, etc., I mean, have we got to the point where there is nothing sacred and we can't police that, or do we right away see the flag of free speech go up in the air?
Well, no. This is it's not so much free speech, but again, they're really using a lot of private company stuff, and then it's up to Twitter and Facebook and the like to not allow that on their platform, and then they so conveniently say free speech. Yet if someone puts a political idea up there that is not about maiming or making a bomb, or suppressing women, then they go after you. So the problem with that example you put up is that there's the problem of the Internet. The Internet has created that it's borderless. We don't have boundaries between countries anymore. We have jurisdiction to go after someone. A criminal can stand across the country line and come and rip you off through cyber communications and just stick a tongue out at you. And there's nothing that we can do if the authorities in that country are not friendly to the United States.
What about
so that's we love this stuff and we seemingly won't give it up. And those are the problems we need to confront and solve.
Absolutely. What about the reverse of this psychology with the Internet and our computers and cyber warfare and cyber espionage watching me? That bothers me more than anything.
Well, this is, again, everything is, it pretends that everything's like a big stew. Everyone got mixed up and stirred up because of the Internet. It's not separate anymore. Even an envelope from a spy, you could see where it came from and not open the contents and know a lot. Now everything's mixed up. So to get to the bad guys, you have to touch the good guys. And this is where we have to draw the line. This is why the trust of the government and holding people that break the law in government is so critical. Because if we're supposed to trust the government to come in and have our data and not look at it unless they need to for criminal investigation, then we have to trust them and show accountability for people that break that rule. And you've got people like Lois Lerner who came after people because of their political beliefs, breaking laws by looking at people's data, and nothing happened to her. As long as that goes on, we're going to have a hard time trusting the people that are supposed to defend us. And that's a lose-lose situation. And that's why all these sweet-talking politicians in D.C. need to take a hike. Because they need to get into performance and not talk. And, these people are lawyers. They don't know anything about technology. They just know how to spin themselves out of corners. And we're headed for a big wall to crash if we don't get a new era politician that understands that the lies have to stop now because the diary is open to all to read.
Well, yeah, but you open up a really good part of the conversation here this morning that made me really scared for a second or two while you were talking. Politicians that really don't understand and they haven't got the IQ to really try to understand what's going on with cybersecurity. Wow, that makes me wonder, how safe are we? I mean, what about our missiles that are in silos? What about cyber warfare to shut us down and in case of a nuclear war that we need to defend ourselves? What about this? Are we really prepared?
Well, we could be more prepared. Those people are more expert. The people in the law enforcement, scientific stuff like NSA, CIA, FBI, they're way more educated than actually people directly elected in Congress, or people that are appointed in agencies, or these agencies are just full of lawyers that have no technological background. And still, because it's, with a lawyer, he doesn't care what he does as long as it's legal. As long as it's legal, his conscience, if he's got one, is clean. And so, it's legal for them to meddle into medicine and technology, and we pay the price of their terrible, terrible actions. But if there's no accountability for doing a lousy job, even if it's legal, then we're toast. And the government is the worst part of the U.S. economy when it comes to cybersecurity, and we're learning that the hard way with the OPM breach and everything else that goes on. And people get frustrated with the government, so you have a lot of insider threats, like Snowden, or that crazy young woman from Augusta who walked out with stuff in her pantyhose. So insider threats are a problem as well. But it all boils down to frustration with people that are in there in power that don't have knowledge. It's not across the board, but when you've got people like Obama demanding agencies give them their data, and he's the president, so he can analyze it to see who his political enemies are, you got a problem. And we're seeing it like crazy right now with them trying to do this whole Russian crazy thing. I mean, these people are absolutely shameless.
I couldn't agree more, and so well stated. Thank you, Michael. Stand by. We've got a caller with a question. Go ahead, please, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, there's a movie out there that it goes along with what you've been talking about, The Circle. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, everybody ought to see it.
Okay, well, I'll have Michael respond to that. Have you seen that movie called The Circle?
No, but I would assume it's about how when I hear that, I think about the tentacles, about how it's all interrelated in the bureaucracy, and the tentacles just go everywhere. I mean, and I don't know if that's what he's referring to in that movie, but we're seeing that with the temper tantrum. Everyone that's thrown a temper tantrum since Trump has won is in the same crowd. And notice how that cuts across party lines. It's really outsider versus insider, and it penetrates from Clapper to Comey, even some you can argue that the people like Bill Kristol, all the people that are establishment that don't like an outsider coming in and breaking the glass. And those people are the bubble or the circle. I assume that's what that's about.
Let me ask you this, Michael. We're seeing the Trump administration in power right now, at least until 2020. And then all bets are off, and we may see another very left-leaning administration maybe win the political aspects of the presidential office. How much are you afraid that our whole system could be geared towards no more privacy whatsoever, and every single individual will be scrutinized by the government as to their health care, their medical conditions, everything? I mean, I'm really afraid as to what the next 10 years will bring to the United States.
Well, I am afraid as well, because what it is look at the acting. I mean, all the press. Look at the lack of accountability. These people have tripled down on how dramatic they are and how every single thing happens. So we're all going to die. Oh, the tax break's wrong. We're all going to die. Oh, this thing happened with Trump doing this. Oh, well, there's this nonstop, relentless threat that everything's going to implode. And what happens is we get deaf to that. And then we don't know the real threats. And the real threats are these very people that are whining, that have the arrogance to use all our health and safety as leverage why they should be in power. And look at what they'll do and how they'll fight and how shameless they are when that power is threatened. Trump, whether you like him or not, is not the point. He is a massive threat to that network's power. And the network's pretty invisible for a long time. And what this has done has just watched how big it is. I mean, look at the major media, plus big corporations, plus, politicians on the left and right. They're all one big crowd. And it's pretty scary.
Michael, where we're at right now on the globe, or I should say on the needle, as far as here we are, maybe a 7 or an 8 of being totally led by the nose by anybody with cyber warfare. Can we ever return a state of individualism and privacy, or have we gone way too far, and for generations, as long as the world lasts, it's never going to get better?
Well, it's interesting that I think technologically we can solve it at its root. I think people are waking up and realizing politicians do not see themselves as people that are serving our safety, and I think that's why Trump won. And I think because Trump won, there's a lot more of a temper tantrum. But that's because people are pushing back, people are fighting back, and I'll tell you, I don't know anybody that voted for him that says they're sorry they voted for him. And the people that have the platform, the mainstream media, the self-righteous do speak loudest. But decibels do not equal the number of the people that are for them. I don't think you'll see much change. And, it's just, I just expect more confrontation, more over-dramatic acting. And it's just important that the public understands it and gets out and votes and keeps the heat on. Because it scares all these people. It's all about accountability. It's just about accountability. They're not used to being held accountable.
Absolutely.
And if they're not held accountable, we won't be safe. So it's quite, that I think is the biggest battle in front of us.
You were so gracious to field my very naive questions, and I appreciate it. The director at the National Cybersecurity Society, Michael Dougherty, always welcome on this program. Thank you, sir, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nice guy, very well-informed young man, and I appreciate him telling it like it is. Cyber warfare and losing our individuality and our privacy. And Michael knows he's really a good guest. Michael Doherty, director at the National Cyber Security Society and a board member at NetShield Corporation. And he's also got a book out called The Devil Inside the Beltway, the shocking expose of the U.S. government surveillance and overreach into cybersecurity, medicine, and small business. Holy cow, we got to get a weather forecast on here right now, and it's brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Oh, I love talking about Scarrows Meats. They are located at 331 North Road, Jerome, and the telephone number to call is 324-7657, or you can go to their website, www.scarrowsmeats.com. Now, last week, right after the program was over, I had a guy call, and he said, "You mean to tell me they've got marinated prime rib?" I said, "Oh, yeah. And smoked hams, and smoked turkeys, and all the brats, and all the bacons, everything. It's just fantastic. And with all the people coming over to your home for the various Christmas and holiday gatherings, oh, you better get a hold of them today. Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Delicious. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like this inversion that we're in is going to be sticking around for the next couple of days, well, at least through about Wednesday. Here's your weather for Zevith Ranch as we kick off another work week, and we are looking at areas of dense freezing fog this morning, patchy fog around the valley. Still a little bit on the breezy side as well. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 10 miles an hour. For tonight, widespread haze before midnight, patchy fog before midnight as well. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies with a low right near 13. For tomorrow, widespread haze after 11 o'clock in the morning. Patchy freezing fog for tomorrow morning as well. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 33. That's going to stick around for Tuesday evening with a low right near 16. Wednesday, widespread haze again because of this inversion. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies with a high of 34 for Wednesday night. Partly cloudy skies with a low of 20. So that is your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Oh, she does a great, great job. Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657, or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Deanne, if you're listening, come on in here for a minute and help me on something, if you would, please, regarding some information. I'd sure appreciate it. And my son-in-law and his brother, Nick and Logan Cummins, qualified to go down to the World Series team roping finals in Las Vegas. Now, tell me, Nick was roping in the 13, right? And they had their first two steers down. They were 7 on the first one, 7 on the second one, and they were 14 going into the finals, and Nick Sealer lost his rope, right? And had 2 feet and lost the rope, and the money that would have been like, they would have won pretty close to what, $250,000? Pretty close to split? They get another chance, another steer on their 4th round. Oh, my goodness sakes. Well, Nick qualified, I think he qualified in 3 different number brackets. He qualified in the 13, the 12, and the 10, or the 11. The 11, and so I want to wish them the very best. I know I'm a little bit prejudiced here, and I'm very, I take ownership, but it's a member of my family, and I'm very, very proud. They're down at that big World Series team roping that goes on at the South Point, and it's while the National Finals Rodeo is going on, and believe me, there are millions and millions of dollars at stake to the winners of that World Series team roping. Wow. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd like to hear from you. While I am waiting, I'm going to brag a little bit about our major sponsor, and that's, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. And they urge you to get ready for wintertime driving. Oh, yeah, you might be saying, well, I don't think we're going to have any snow or any ice or anything this winter. Uh-huh. Well, you better get in there and get ready because I got a feeling it's going to dump on us here any day in the future. And I'll tell you, be ready with the best of traction tires and all the different tread designs that are going to get you through the snow, the ice, and the muck and the yuck. They've got them all at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with all the tire chains. And, of course, don't you forget, too, the best in brake service. Highly trained brake technicians serving you, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, the best in batteries. Get in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Are you going flying anywhere soon? Well, I just found this the other day. Flying the Filthy Skies. Yeah, you heard me right. Flying the Filthy Skies. The following is a list of the dirtiest places on airplanes and in airports that you should try to avoid. Number 1, have one of those, what do they call those, Deanne? Those little wipes, they're called what? That you can take out of a packet, that kill the germs? Little swipes or wipes or something like that. Make sure you get on the airplane or go on your trip with plenty of those in your pocket. The number 1 dirty place on an airplane is the tray table. Oh, the germs are never cleaned off and you don't want to know what's on there. The number 2 is a drinking fountain button. Don't put your hand or your thumb on that drinking fountain button. Use something else. Number 3 is the overhead air vent. They said that is one of the filthiest, germ-filled knobs anywhere on the airplane. The other is the lavatory flush button. I don't even have to go there. And another very dangerous place for germs on an airplane, the seatbelt buckle. And the other one that's in the top 6, bathroom stall locks. So like I said, take those little swipes along with you and use them because those are the top 6 dirtiest places when you're flying on an airplane or in the airport. Be careful. Well, with that great news, we're going to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I got to ring the bells one more time this morning. In the fog. There we go. I certainly hope you have a great day. And don't forget, Thursday, we're going to be over at Denny's in Burley at 611 North Overland for their annual Christmas party. Oh, it's going to be fantastic with the choirs and Santa Claus and door prizes. It's just going to be a great, great time, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 8:06 with more Zeb at the Ranch right here on K-Bar 1230 a.m. and then streaming live on the Internet. And you heard Frosty say it. We've got people listening to us every day all over the country on ZebBell.com. And the words that we always say, the way things were are the way things ought to be. You have a great day. Be careful out there. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:06.